Hey everybody, welcome to the advice stream. I'm your host, Jeremy International. We are live on Twitch. We are live on YouTube. We are not live on Facebook. We are no longer streaming to Facebook. If you've been watching us on Facebook, and you haven't because no one ever does, we are no longer there. Facebook has changed their rules, and we don't have enough followers on Facebook to be able to stream live to them anymore. So RIP to Facebook. Maybe we pulled a couple people every once in a while, but it wasn't a lot of people. So we are on Twitch. We are on YouTube. We are also, of course, at JeremyInternational.com. Let me bring this up, and I'll bring on a little logo. There we go. So if you'd like to participate in the show tonight outside of the chat on YouTube or Twitch, you can head on over to JeremyInternational.com and you can contact us in the contact form. Boy, I am struggling today, everyone, and I am so tired. I don't necessarily have a specific reason. It's just kind of everything. Maybe it's the weather. I don't know. But we are here. We're going to do a show. Oldmin will be joining us in just a moment. And that moment is now. Why not? So, hey, Oldman, I've got to unmute you here. There you go.
How's it going?
Oldman, how's it going?
It's all right. I've had some car troubles over the last week in that my car is no longer safe to drive. And yeah, I've been chilling at home, playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3, watching the vampire show. It's been okay.
The interview with the vampire show.
Mm-hmm.
I started reading that book a couple days ago. It's very gay. I'm so into it. I'm having a good time.
Interesting. You'll have to tell me what you think about it, because I read those when I was like 15 years old, and so that's the memory that I have of it. Very decayed memory from my teenage years.
I'm into it. I had no idea that first book in that series, Interview with the Vampire, came out in like the 70s. Because, that movie was a big deal. I remember when that movie came out in the 90s, and all of the older kids that I knew were reading the book around the same time.
That's interesting that you mentioned that, because in the most recent episode, which I watched when I had dinner earlier, it's the whole premise of this new show is that the vampire Louis is giving a second interview to the journalist in the first book to correct the lies and mistakes in the first interview. But in the most recent episode, they flash back to the 70s and they play out a part of, well, I guess what happened in the book. But they changed it.
Yeah. I'm really into it. It at the risk of sounding like a pretentious book snob, it does a really good job of setting like a sense of like place. Like I feel like I'm in this gross, damp swamp in New Orleans that I said gross, but I guess lots of other people think is perfect and beautiful. It just really makes me feel like I'm there in a way that I really need from a book. If I can get through it at all, is I have to feel like I'm in a place.
You don't sound like a book snob, and remember, I have my entire library on display right behind me, so there's really no chance that you're going to come off as more of a book snob than I do.
Speaking of books, I did a little bit of shopping since last week, and can I show you some of the stuff that I got? I got some cool stuff.
Please.
So on Friday, Fred and Dad and I had a date night. We went out to dinner, just the two of us. And in the historic downtown of the city in which we live. And after our dinner and drinks, we just started like wandering around as you do in places like that. We stumbled upon a very tiny, very adorable little comic book store. And on this shelf, I didn't even know this had come out, was the complete Sex Criminals by Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. And
cool.
I love this series. I didn't know that it had finished, so I'm quite a bit behind. I have a lot of catching up to do, but it's all together. And when have you heard of this series at all? Have you read any of this?
I have the first trade paperback, but I haven't ever picked it up to read it.
The premise, for if you haven't heard or if anyone at home, is that there's a man and a woman. At the beginning, they don't know each other, and when they have an orgasm, that time freezes for the duration of their refractory period until they get horny again. Time freezes, but they're free to move through the world. And the story begins where they meet each other at a party and they really hit it off and they go home together and have sex, and they discover, because every time that they've had a successful sexual experience with someone, the person's just frozen and the world is frozen, and they realize that the other one is not frozen, that they're also, that same thing happens to them. So then they go about like committing various crimes, but for good reasons, and getting into all kinds of trouble because they can sneak into the bathroom in a bank together and do it real quick, and then have the bank be frozen and walk out with all the money. No one's going to know. There's lots of interesting things that come out of that, and a story is much more complicated than that, of course. But it's so good. It has a lot of really like honesty about mental illness in a way that I don't see very often.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, for obvious
Sounds
reasons,
good.
it's kind of horny, so it's fun. There's lots of nudity in it. Yeah, so I didn't even know that they were done with it. But Matt Fraction is one of my favorite comic book writers of our age, and was the showrunner for the Godzilla show on Apple Plus, which I am the cross I'm gonna die on is that show's really, really good, even though I'm not sure many people agree with me. So yeah, anyways, really good read if you are looking for something to read, if you have the first volume. Next time we see each other IRL, I'm sure you could borrow this if you wanted to.
Cool.
Sex Criminals. And then I bought a bunch of games. This is the coolest game that I got. And I need to go back and look because I thought I had ordered a complete copy of this and they just sent me a disc. But this is a game for the Dreamcast called Omicron the Nomad Soul, which is a horrible name for a video game. I don't know. You can't really see that closely. That is David Bowie. David Bowie's in this game.
What?
And he did music, and he did the music for it, and he added some voice acting, I believe. And it's a game I wanted for a while. It's not particularly rare or valuable. I could have sworn I got a complete copy of it. I don't know why they just sent me a disc. But they did. And then what else did I get? And then I also got, I'm very excited. I was contemplating streaming this tonight, but I'm not sure how much sense it makes to keep streaming games I've never played before because it can get awkward and frustrating. This is a game that just came out for the Switch. It's a Hellboy game called Web of Weird. This is a collector's edition I got. And it looks exactly, I was talking about comic books. Hellboy is one of my favorite, at least indie comics ever made. The artist, Mike Mignola, is a genius, and his artwork is super distinct and beautiful and weird. And the video game, the graphics in the game look exactly like his artwork. I don't know how easy that is to see.
Oh, cool.
So I'm very excited to play this. I'm going to get to this sometime this week. It's got multiplayer on it. Weird. Does it? No, it doesn't. It's single player. And then another game we'll get around to playing sometime is I got another Jeopardy game for the
nice. Hey, so a little upgrade.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Getting a Wii to work in my rig here is be a little complicated, but we could probably make it happen. So that is some cool stuff that I got for myself recently. What am I doing? There. Boy, we don't really have many people coming out today.
No, it's crickets.
I know. Well,
I posted the promos and I reminded our longtime fans, but maybe they're busy.
Yeah, people got other things to do, which is totally fine. I'm checking my... Okay. Well, for an... you know, I always believe that when you're doing a show and there's more
Mhm.
people on stage than there is in the audience. You don't have to do the show. But we're here.
That's true. But let's play Jeopardy. We can play it together. Let's do it for
Yeah,
us.
let's do it. And we have some good advice questions. One that I discovered almost simultaneously to the time that you sent it to me. But maybe we'll hang on to that for a little bit in case some people show up.
Yeah, that's smart.
I have a couple good questions I found today. And also remember that if you're watching from home at a future date, every episode of the Advice Stream is streaming for free without commercial breaks at JeremyInternational.com. So maybe you're watching this not live, but at some future date. And that is cool um, because it's the thought that counts.
It is.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's do some Jeopardy.
I was watching Jeopardy yesterday. I watched the actual show, and while I was watching it, I was keeping in mind the rule that you mentioned last time, which is that the answer to the Jeopardy questions are not necessarily going to be the most obscure. It's much more likely it's going to be the first thing that people would think of in response to that question.
The part of I think the skill of like the high end players on Jeopardy is not. I mean, obviously they have to know a lot of trivia, but also it's being like knowing like how the questions really, if we want to get technical about Jeopardy, how the answers are written, and you can kind of extrapolate stuff. Like if they're going to talk about like a Civil War general, you know that it's going to be like one of three people.
Yeah.
You don't have to dig that deep into it. Okay, is this connected? Let's see. Not yet. Yeah, I'm sorry you've been having a rough week, my friend. I actually don't have anything specific that's been challenging. For me, I that night that Fred and I went out to dinner, I think I didn't eat very smart.
Mm-hmm.
And while I had a little bit more to drink than I typically have, I didn't drink that much. But because of some of the things that I ate that night, that I feel like all of the progress I've made with all my gastro nonsense over the last 2 weeks, like I lost it all. And I've been feeling like I did like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I was going to ask, are you in an empty nest right now? Did Freddie
I'm
leave for
all
a trip yet?
alone. Yep, I'm all alone. They left this morning. I'm all alone until Friday. But honestly, the solitude is kind of something that I think I need. I don't need
Yeah.
a lot.
How long has it been since you've had solitude?
Um, Not that long. I mean, Oldmin it's just the two of us, so I mean we can chit chat about this. I well, so first off, Freddie and her mom and Vivi go on trips not often but occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
So they've done this before, and then for I don't know the last number of years, most of the time that since our daughter's been born, my old the old medication I would take would make me so exhausted that I just stay in bed for 2 sometimes 3 days, and Freddie
Mm-hmm.
would take our daughter to her mom's house and stay there because I wasn't able to help as a parent or be present in any way at all because I was
Mm-hmm.
so messed up from this medication.
Yeah.
So this actually, Freddie and I have been talking about this. I need to find more opportunities for me and our kid to leave, so Freddie gets to have this, couple of days of solitude. 4 days is absolutely more than what I need. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. What I'm doing right now is trying to figure out how to. My controller's not paired, but
You're
I should
good.
get it here in just a second. Even with 8-bit do, there's no like rule about there's no like consistency from product to product about how you pair things. I just
The
push a bunch
pairing
of
of that product line or that company specifically, I've noticed they make good products, but the pairing process is always difficult. Like I remember when I was putting together my RetroPie, I had to like scour the forums for a patch to connect one of my older 8BitDo controllers.
Yeah. Well, the update process they have now, the firmware update process, is really cool because there's a app you install on your computer, and then you can plug your controller right into your computer and get all of the updates that you need, which is really nice.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times. I'll let you know when I get my my keyboard how it works out for me.
Yeah, my my RAID server, my Plex server that probably the audience doesn't know, but you know that I use an awful lot, and a bunch of our friends do also. Is currently connected to an iMac that's from 2019, and I'd imagine in the next year or two, that computer is gonna need to be replaced.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out. I don't want to spend, you know, $1,000 or more, and it would be more to get another something like an iMac to connect it to, and then on top of that, I want to take that RAID and I want to tuck it away like in the corner of our furnace room or something because it's all spinning disk hard drives. It's loud. And so when someone's streaming for it or when it does its regular like maintenance and it, you know, juggles around all the data on it, it makes a lot of noise. And so I'm trying to figure out the best way to have a very small, very low power computer that I can just sit on a shelf in our furnace room with that RAID server and not think about it and just have it, you know, chip away there as much as it wants to.
I think you got options.
Yeah,
you could just have one of your old coworkers smuggle something out for you.
Right, I can certainly do that because that's so easy to do. Okay. Jeopardy.
This is.
Wait. Hold on. The audio is not coming through.
Yeah, I don't hear it either.
Yeah. 1 second, please, everybody.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
I'm going to make a run. 1 second. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, this is just going to take me a second, too. Okay, I think that is back. Well, while we're waiting for Oldmin to come back, let's just enjoy the sounds of Jeopardy for the Sega Genesis. This is Sega Genesis Jeopardy, by the way. Sega Genesis released everywhere else except outside of North America as the Sega Mega Drive. But this is Genesis. The reason why that's the case is complicated. We don't need to get into it. But there's a little bit of video game trivia for you there. Let's dig in.
Back. Sounds on.
Yeah. I wonder how they would make this work. It says 2 joypads required for 3-player game. So if you wanted to play this with 3 people, because Sega Genesis only supports 2 controllers.
I guess, you hand it off.
Yeah, but how do you buzz in?
Well, that's a good question.
I'm assuming that because you can press any one of the 3 face buttons, I'm guessing the idea would be that you'd have a controller sitting down and at least 2 people.
Yeah, and they can like
know which is which.
Almost hold hands.
We need
got 2 hands on the controller. Yeah.
I'm gonna be Matt Sharp again. And we did this last week. I'm gonna do it again. We're gonna call him Matt.
Yep.
Have I ever told you about my... No. My system for watching Jeopardy live that I spend an awful lot of time setting up and not a small amount of money, and I don't use it anymore.
What is it?
Well, because, you know, Jeopardy, like, new episodes of Jeopardy are, you have to have cable or you have to get TV over the air.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not free at 7 p.m. every weekday to just like watch Jeopardy. That's not realistic, or 7:30 or whatever it comes on. So I bought a digital antenna, and took me a long time to figure out how that works because I don't think I ever dealt with a TV antenna before. Hold on, I'm going to turn this down so I can tell you the story. And I bought this little itty bitty specific for this purpose type of computer called a Tableau that you connect the antenna to and you connect a hard drive to. And then there's some software that you got to kind of configure. And then it's like a TiVo, but for over the air television, for broadcast TV.
Mm-hmm. Does it cut out the commercials?
It's supposed to. It does it very poorly. It would very often either just end the recording at the first commercial break or cut off big parts of the show. It had a hard time understanding when. So I deactivated that pretty early because that worked very poorly. If anyone if the one person watching on Twitch, which is probably either me or you, but if there's anyone from the Tableau company watching this, you need to get that software working a little bit better. So I set it up and it still works like a charm. And I never watch Jeopardy. I'm not using it. No. But it was, like a problem that I shoehorned a solution for, and it's really great. I don't use it for anything else. There's no other television being transmitted over the air that I have any desire to watch, except for Jeopardy. And it still works perfectly. That hard drive is probably getting full because it records every episode no matter what. Next time you come over, I'll show it to you. It's in the back, like up against the big bay windows at the back of our kitchen, because that was where it got the best TV signal.
Yeah, I definitely want to do a show from Jeremy's pad pretty soon, but with the car issues, I don't know exactly when that's going to be.
And I
no later than next month.
I want to get my I need to I don't know if I mentioned this either, but I'm going to do a whole reorganization and get new shelves and everything. Mm-hmm. Did I just see one of these categories is the comics?
The comics.
And I know a lot about animals. I know a lot about fruit. I'm going to kill it on this one.
Yeah, but we got sports too.
You know what? I'm going to risk it.
All right.
I'm going to go right for the comics for 500. The December 15th Peanuts show celebrates the birthday of this man.
Not the comics we were thinking of.
I mean, I kind of expected it to be this. Is it December 15th is MLK Day? Isn't it?
Okay.
Can I just say MLK? Probably not.
Let's see.
No. I hate the Peanuts. It's so boring. There's nothing. I've never been. Beethoven. Oh, that makes more sense. All right, I started off bad. I'm in the hole. I made a mistake. It was overly confident. Use peach baskets. Basketball. I bet you it's basketball.
1891, though. That seems a little early. I'm not sure.
No, I think that seems about right to me. Because we both know so much about basketball. And it says baskets.
Yeah. I think, going by your rule.
Yeah. Let's do comics for 2. This bow-tied redhead has been going to Riverdale. Archie. Everybody knows that. Chime in anytime you want to, though.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe it was one of the other characters, but I'm not super familiar with Archie, I will
admit. Let's keep doing the comics. The Walt Kelly comic character who first said, "We have met the enemy and he is us." I don't know what that is.
No clue.
No idea. Pogo?
Pogo?
Who's Pogo?
Okay.
I've never heard of a comic called Pogo my entire life.
No, nor have I.
In a perfect game in this sport, you score 300. Bowling.
Bowling.
Bowling is also the only sport I know that the concept of a perfect game exists. Maybe there's other ones. I don't know.
I mean, there's like games that have been solved. Like chess can't be solved because it's
Yeah,
too.
people don't say chess is a sport, though.
That is true. That is true.
They should, though. I mean, I don't know if they should or not. I don't give a shit. Brady Brothers, whose German name means both hangover and the yowling of cats. I kind of know this one, but not confidently enough to write it in.
You gonna yell for us, O'Geinen?
Meow.
You said you don't do impressions.
I do that one. Cats and Jammer. I've heard of that before.
Cats. That is a very long answer.
Yeah, I'm glad. If I was really confident, I don't think I would have done it anyways. I don't feel like typing that much. This tiny pest, Pullix irritans, can jump 130 times. A flea.
Yeah, it's got to be a flea.
Mm-hmm. EA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You are correct.
I am back in black. I'm going to go for another big number, though.
Let's go for it. Go big or go home. Oh, donkey.
Are you sure it's not a mule?
Oh no, I think you're right. It is a mule. Donkey is one of the parents.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Fruits for 500. Related to the apple and pear, this fruit is usually made into preserves rather than eaten raw.
I'm going to feel real stupid because I don't know this one. I mean, I probably do. Quince, yeah.
Good job,
Andrea. When I first started my meme page, it was called Persimmon Memes, and I posted a lot of memes about persimmons, which happened to also be very left-wing.
Disney. That's funny.
Won more Oscars than anyone. Oh.
You are correct.
I gotta catch up to Andrea. Let's just do awards for 500. Germany's highest military honor, or a ring maneuver in gymnastics?
All I can think of is Iron Cross.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's right.
I think that's it. Triple X. I was gonna be like a marshal. It's gotta be an Iron Cross. That sounds right. I'm doing it. I'm going for it. Fortune favors the bold. Iron Cross.
You are correct.
Haha, good job, Oldmin.
We're doing better in sports than anything else right now.
For sure. Except that wasn't sports. Mystery Writers named their award for this early author of the Eerie.
Oh my gosh! Don't tell me this that it's escaping my mind.
It's not like
Edgar Allan Poe. It's got to be Edgar Allan Poe,
yeah,
right?
I think you're right, Poe. Oh man, he's writing the whole deal. I wonder if it would have just accepted Poe. Good job, Sam.
I want to check something.
Joan Benoit's type of road race. I'm not gonna try.
Who is Joan Benoit?
No idea. F1 maybe? A marathon.
You are correct.
Hey, Jugsy's here. Hey, Jugsy.
Hey,
A
Jugs.
hog's block for this and Jugsy, you're the only one. Welcome to the show.
I didn't know that the police had a football team. Yeah. Not
That
really.
was clever.
You are correct.
How's it been, Jugs? The most decorated soldier of World War II, he later decorated the B movie screen. Oh, I kind of sort of know this guy, but I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna risk it. Yeah, Audie Murphy.
You are correct.
I was so close to knowing that, but I wasn't confident enough to type it out. Daily double for
Daily double.
Audrey.
She's killing us.
Yeah. Oh, she got it wrong, though.
Correct response.
Cy Young, no idea who that is. After surviving a car wreck, this former Dodger catcher wrote, "It's good to be alive."
Is that a song?
Is it baseball? Is it baseball? Triple X.
Sorry.
Sam's in the neg.
Sorry.
Okay, well, thanks to Andrea's misjudgment there, I'm in the lead now. I'm not
Nice.
even going to try this one. What's new? What's new, Jugsy? Sorry things haven't been great. Oldmin and I were talking about this earlier. Things haven't been so great for us either. Bigger than the entire world's land surface, it's the Earth's largest ocean. Well, that's the Pacific, right? It always looks like it's the biggest one.
I've been having some car trouble, Jugsy, and that my car is not drivable anymore. And that it's not been the worst, because being alone at home and then knowing, oh, well, I can't go anywhere. Or if I do go anywhere, it's going to be a big to-do to get places on public transportation. I don't know. I've been fine just hanging out with myself and my animals the last week.
Close relative of the pig, though its name means river horse, a hippopotamus.
Yeah.
Can I just say hippo?
I think they'll take it. They better take it.
Is it two P's?
2 P's.
Oh, Panomus.
No. Just say hippo. They're going to take it.
I don't know. We'll see.
You are correct.
Yeah, they took it. Eat that, Andrea, whichever. Fruits for 400. This popular muskmelon was named for the village in Italy.
It's a muskmelon.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Cantaloupe.
A cantaloupe.
You are correct.
I didn't know that.
Okay, muskmelon is just the proper name for the melon, a group of the family of melons. But I've never heard that before.
This is, hold on, completion of this waterway separated Africa from Asia, the Suez.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I know how to spell that.
Sorry.
What?
What? No, that's right. That was the right spelling. But maybe it's a different one.
It's something else then.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're both feeling a little sleepy, Jug. So this episode's going to be shorter than many of the other ones.
I think we're going to get through Single Jeopardy, and then there's an advice question that I would like to discuss, at least with the two of you that are here. The smallest country in the world is located entirely within the Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
That. And if we want to get technical, it's Vatican City.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spelling that right, aren't I?
Yep.
Thank you.
You are correct.
Okay, well, at least I'm double up on anybody else. Animals, 3. When husbands pop for an ermine coat, they're actually buying this fur.
Not weasels, but
Like a... I
weasel?
think it is.
You are correct.
Gross. Gross.
Do
The
people
Sierra
pop
Nevada
for
range
things like
contains
that?
this country's highest peak, the 11,411 foot. I don't know. Isn't that Spain? Really?
You are correct.
Okay. Our tropics lie between the tropics of Cancer and
Capricorn.
Capricorn.
Capricorn, yeah.
Capricorn.
So it starts out like Capri Sun,
Thank you.
and then corn.
With an I, Capri.
Yes. Corn.
Corn. Well, I'll never forget how to spell that now.
You are correct.
Oh boy. What did I say? There are about 40,000 muscles and tendons in this part of an elephant's body. I'm gonna guess trunk.
Yeah, it's got to be trunk.
What else would it be?
You are correct.
Let's get comics out of the way for 100. There's a statue of him in Crystal City, Texas, erected by spinach growers. That's got to be Popeye.
Got to be.
Yeah.
You know what? Still, it makes me irate. It's that the Popeyes chicken chain doesn't have spinach as a side.
I don't think anyone would ever eat it.
But I mean, I would. I like to have a full, healthy meal with veg, protein, carbs.
Cherries? Bing cherries? I'm guessing. I don't think that would be a very popular, like cooked spinach, like wilted spinach or whatever.
Yeah, but if you're going to name your restaurant chain Popeyes, you have to have spinach. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I wish that we lived in that kind of world.
It would be logical.
Yeah, the perfectly logical world where everything makes
I think
sense.
they did actually used to have license the Popeye character.
They
also,
did.
way back.
I have a story about that too. Hold on. When dried, the fruit of the lich tree is known as this.
Lychee. Oh, but I don't know when they're dried.
Right.
I don't know when they're dried.
Me neither.
That's just another way of spelling lychee.
Sorry.
Lychee.
So what was your encounter with the Sailor Man?
When I was little, my parents... Hold on, let's get to the end of this and I'll tell the story.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm not even going to try.
It's going to be something super obvious.
You know the correct response?
Lychee nut? Come
Never
on.
heard of it in my entire life. Not once. While muskrats are rodents, muscats are these?
Wine.
Yeah, it's a grape, right? That's what
Yes.
Moscato comes from?
Yeah, I guess grape would be
Because
the
it's
other
fruit
answer.
is the category.
Mm-hmm. Moscato.
You are correct.
Yay. All right, can I pause this? Oh,
Double jeopardy.
that was weird. Let's look at what the categories are, and then I think we can just leave it like this. Oh, that's something I know a lot about, country music. Sea cities, 60s trivia, flags, medicine, world of fashion. Okay, let's leave that for a minute.
Yeah,
I actually
that's a
don't know
pause.
if we're gonna get back to that or not, because it's
Okay.
a quarter till already.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I don't remember any of the details of this because I was really little, but my parents invested in like a Popeyes franchise or something with somebody else, and I think it failed. And I remember going to Popeyes like a lot, and they used to have these little rubber, little plastic like Popeye the Sailor Man toys in their little kids' meals. This must have been, if not the very early 90s, the very late 80s.
You know, I can tell you why it failed.
Because they didn't have
No,
spinach.
exactly.
People were confused by the branding.
Right.
Okay. So here's not the question you sent me, Oldmin, but one that I think is interesting nonetheless.
Okie dokes.
Maybe the one you sent me we'll see. Maybe we'll save that for next week. Maybe we'll go over it after this. I don't know. But I'm interested. I don't know exactly what my take on this is yet. But maybe I'll have stronger feelings about it by the time I get to the end.
Let's hear it.
Packages constantly get stolen from our apartment complex. So I usually send packages to the parents of my girlfriend with their blessing. I ordered several large and expensive Lego sets after finishing a major project as a reward for myself. They got delivered to the house, but went missing in the few days it took me to swing by. The delivery driver shot a picture of the packages, and my girlfriend's mom swore she left them in the laundry room for me. What happened was my girlfriend's stepsister, Amy, helped herself to the packages. She claimed she thought they were hers, and when she opened them, her sons went crazy and wanted to play with them. Amy didn't see the harm. Her sons destroyed over $2,000 in Lego sets, and all I got was a tub of mismatched pieces. I told Amy that if she paid for the replacements, we would call it even. Amy claimed she didn't have the money because she was saving to fix up her car, and a real man shouldn't be playing with toys. I threatened to take it to small claims court, which is when Amy's father stepped in and paid me back. Now, things are very frosty between my girlfriend and her family. I wonder why. Initially, my girlfriend was on my side, but now makes comments about how I escalated things and should have let it go. We finally had a fight where I told her it wasn't my fault that Amy was a damn dirty thief, and that what she did wasn't any different than taking money out of my wallet. I am now sending packages to my workplace, and it is a hassle since I work hybrid. I thought I had a pretty good relationship with my girlfriend and her parents until this. Is this a red flag or not?
That's a weird way to end that letter. Like, what? Why is red flag? Why is the term red flag getting involved here?
Yeah, and is it because I mean, I don't know how I feel about all of this. Because first off, I am an adult man that often spends money on things that other people might get confused and think are for kids, right? So I relate to this guy very much because, you know, I work hard. I have lots of other financial obligations, and the money I spend on fun things for myself is really important to me. But at the same time, I almost want to say, like, if they were like, it doesn't say how long he and his girlfriend have been together. If they were like married or like, I don't know, had something, if they were defining themselves as more than boyfriend and girlfriend, then I almost feel like his actions would be more acceptable. But when you're in like boyfriend role, you have to be the good boyfriend. And sometimes that means putting peace above justice.
Yeah. I think I'm about on the same page as you with that. I also feel like the whole idea of having packages delivered to her parents,
Yeah.
that was asking for something to happen. It seems it's not like the worst idea in the world, and it's not like a huge imposition or anything, but packages go missing, and if you're having it delivered to your girlfriend's parents' house, there's going to be some kind of conflict about that. And I gotta say that it sounds like this guy was itching for a fight about this.
Yeah.
The whole thing about kids opening it and thinking the Legos were for them, to my ears, that sounds very understandable.
Yeah.
And
even having an adult open the package and say, oh, this is Legos, they're for kids. The thing, of course, is that, I mean, his name, I'm assuming his name was on the package. So, I mean, she opened a package that wasn't hers, that she should have known wasn't hers, saw that there were kids' toys in it, and then gave them to her kids. I absolutely think that that's stealing. Her refusal to even consider reimbursing him, even in like, I'm so sorry, can I give you a couple $100 a month for a few months until I pay off? Her refusal to even try to reimburse him for his property is really unfortunate. I think it is clear that she stole from him and doesn't seem to mind that she did. But when you threaten to take your girlfriend's family member to small claims court, I feel like is when the relationship ends. I don't think you recover from that. And, depending on how close she is with her family, like if I was dating somebody that got into that level of escalation with my family, I'm really close with my family. My family is a big deal to me. I would choose. You should never be put in a situation where you have to choose between your family or your partner. But he was putting her in that situation, and to me, like his question is this a red flag? I think he's kind of the red flag. He's shown his red flag.
And I as much as I accept and enjoy the maintaining hobbies from your childhood and all that, the story that's going to be told about this in that family is he broke us up over Legos. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I agree, it's stealing, and just because they're Legos doesn't make it any better, really. Although it's understandable with the kids thinking they were for them, at least. Their mom gave it to them, I'm guessing. But yeah, like on the balance, the equities of everything in this, he went too aggro in response to the event.
I think the big life lesson in this is the stepsister started off wrong. She opened a box that wasn't hers. She gave what was inside the box to her kids. They broke it in an irreplaceable way. I've put together a couple of those big ticket Lego sets, and once all of those pieces are mixed together, there's no going back. You can't get them back into an order where you could follow the instructions to assemble the item correctly. So, like, I get that. She started off being wrong. She continued to be wrong when she refused to acknowledge that she had done anything wrong. And she became a thief, essentially, when she refused to reimburse him. She became a really cruel, unkind person when she said, real men don't play with toys. I mean, any conversation that starts with real blanks don't do this or real blanks do that, you're a bad person when you say that.
I get the impression from the letter that that was after the aggro stuff already started, and maybe she wouldn't have said that out loud if there hadn't been a dispute involved.
But two wrongs don't make a right, and she was wrong, and he became more wrong by pushing the point in this particular situation. Now, if this was like a blood relative, if he wasn't saying my girlfriend's sister, if he was saying my sister, my brother, my cousin, my whatever, then all of that changes a little bit, I think. but he's the outsider in this family. And when you're in the situation he's in, you really need to invest in building a relationship with your partner's family. And he so aggressively did not do that in this case.
Yeah, it doesn't sound to me like he asked himself, what is more valuable to me, this relationship with this woman and her family,
Yeah,
or
the Legos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I agree with
that
100%.
comparison needed to happen, and it didn't.
I
Like,
think
you can stand up on principle of the thing, and that, is also another way of thinking about it. But even then, the principle of not being stolen from $2,000 worth of Legos versus this relationship, he didn't make that comparison.
Yeah.
Not seriously, anyway.
This is a perfect case of sometimes peace is more important than justice.
Yeah.
And to preserve and to continue to grow the relationship with his girlfriend, he should have aligned with peace instead of justice. And, everyone's entitled to justice, for sure. But just because you're entitled to it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do in this particular case. To be clear, there are lots of times where justice is much more important than peace. I'm not saying that peace is more important than justice. Always. Justice is essential to society. It's essential to the human spirit. But sometimes you should pick peace over justice. And this was one of those times.
I feel like peace can fall under the heading of justice in a wider conception, but like legal justice, making that comparison, I think you're right about that. Yeah.
I get that phrase, sometimes peace is more important than justice, by the way, from a play that I worked on in college called Big Love, by a person named Charles Nee. It's a modern retelling of the rape of the Sabine women from Greek mythology. If you know that story, that 50 brothers kidnap 50 sisters, and on their wedding night, the sisters vow to murder their husbands, and all of them do except for one actually falls in love with her husband and doesn't murder him. So the surviving brother wants justice for all of his brothers against all of the sisters. And the sisters want justice against their one sister who broke her vow to murder her husband. Because if she had followed through with it, there wouldn't be anyone left to demand justice to them. So it roils up and it roils up. And it's inevitable that there's going to be more violence. And the play ends with them deciding to just let it go, because sometimes peace is more important than justice.
Sounds about like an equivalent situation to losing $2,000 worth of freaking Legos.
Also, I mean, knowing how some of these big, like, high ticket Lego sets go these days, that's probably like two Lego
I was going to
sets.
ask about that because I'm sorry, but maybe this is my own prejudice, but $2,000 worth of Legos is that's shocking.
A lot. We have a Lego set of the pyramid at Giza, and I can't imagine it costs us more than a couple $100. But I've seen, if that, I'm sure that Fred and Dad would never have let me spend more than $100 on a Lego set. But there's a Rivendell from Lord of the Rings Lego set that I want so bad, and it's like $600. That ain't ever gonna happen.
Oh my god! Get a puzzle.
Yeah, but puzzles are dumb. Legos are fun.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of doing puzzles either. Some people
don't care for puzzles. Cool. Jugsy says there's $1,000 sets. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jugsy says sounds like she did it intentionally because she thought he'd roll over. That may very well be the case. I have a hard time understanding or sympathizing with a person who starts off by opening a package that's not theirs, giving the contents inside to their children to essentially break, and then to put your foot down and say, it's not my responsibility. That to me is the hardest part to accept of all of this. Oh, maybe, I don't know, for ease of delivery, maybe he puts the orders under like his girlfriend's parents' names or something.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then the whole situation becomes a lot more understandable on her end.
Yeah, that's true. All right, you want to do another one?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay. This one is, I just, more than anything, is, I think, a masterclass on how not to write a question seeking advice, because it leaves out so many important pieces of information. I have long harbored what I thought was a harmless crush on a friend of mine, but now another friend, Alex, I'm sorry, so I'll start over again. The letter writer says, I've long harbored what I thought was a harmless crush on a friend of mine, parentheses, Jordan. And now another friend, parentheses, Alex, has told Jordan, and Jordan is threatening me with a restraining order. So we'll just leave it there. Let's think about that for a second. I've long harbored what I thought was a harmless crush. What does that mean, that you think something is a harmless crush? There's so much subtext in there.
Yeah.
Now that the person that she had a crush on is threatening to get a restraining order, I wonder what happened in between there. I am livid that I told Alex about my crush and Alex betrayed my confidence. I admit that some of the things I've done were probably not great decisions. No more information about that. But those actions weren't harming Jordan in the least. So long as Jordan didn't know about them, now I am torn because I'm afraid Jordan is going to call the police. If they call the police, I probably need to throw away any evidence ahead of time. But that is almost impossible for me to come to terms with. The situation is rapidly spiraling out of control, and I don't feel like there's anybody non-judgmental I can go to for help. How can I make amends with Jordan in a way that honestly atones for what I've done, while also leaving open the possibility of our getting together romantically?
Oh, Lordy.
I'm not laughing at this person. I'm just laughing at, I guess I'm laughing at the situation. But
Yeah.
What is it that they did? One
thing that I have to mention is that this person clearly doesn't want to say the actual acts that caused this person to think that a restraining order was necessary.
Yeah.
And probably is thinking, that's a clever or smart thing to do, given the possibility of a restraining order or prosecution. But then she admits that she's going to destroy evidence if it happens, which is a separate crime.
I don't know. Because these letters are so anonymous. I don't know if, and it's unclear what gender the letter writer is. I don't know if they're concerned as much about this being used as the letter being used as evidence against them, as much as it is that I think they're instinctively holding back details because what they did was so unacceptable.
I just think it's funny that they admit that they're going to commit a separate crime of obstruction of justice, but they won't tell us what the actual acts that they did were.
I didn't even think about that until you pointed it out. I think this is a really good life lesson, is if you're getting ready to do something that you think might be bad judgment, but you're prepared to do it anyways, run this little question in your head real quick. Is there somebody in my life I could talk to about this that wouldn't be judgmental about it? And if the answer to that question is no, then you shouldn't do it. That's your conscience telling you that no one you know would find what you're about to do to be acceptable. And so that's a good milestone for yourself. I'm getting ready to do something. I know it's sketchy, but I really want to do it. It's important for me to do this. But hang on a second. Is there anyone in my social group, any of my friends, that would understand why I was doing this? And if the answer is no, then don't do it.
And also, this is just going back to my legal point. I'm sorry, but obstruction of justice can be very hard to prove. But if you go out there and write to a newspaper, I'm going to commit obstruction of justice. You're putting yourself in a bad situation there.
There's so many. It's so candy coated. I admit that some of the things I've done were probably not great decisions.
Yeah, I'm imagining
not going to tell you what they were.
Binoculars in a car, like classic stalker behavior, and your imagination runs wild, obviously.
Here's the thing,
like,
Oldman, though. If you're just stalking someone with binoculars from your car, you don't have any evidence you have to destroy.
yeah, what is it?
This
Photos?
person has something. They took something. They're in possession of something they should not be in possession of.
It's got to be like his property or photos of him that were taken without his knowledge.
I mean, looking at someone through binoculars in your car is creepy enough. But that is not what they did because they have evidence.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But also like the whole notion that, oh, well, this, if he hadn't known about it, then he wouldn't have been hurt by it. That also is like classic stalker rationalization.
Yeah. And then the part at the end that goes, how do I get out of this, was still leaving the possibility that we can get together romantically.
The Lulu.
He's about to call the police on me, but I'm still hoping there's a way we can find a way to make it work.
Yeah, I almost feel bad for this person.
I feel really bad for this person.
Yeah, in that they're so caught in the throes of this obsession that they still think that somebody's saying, I'm going to get a restraining order against you, and then thinking, oh, well, I might still have a chance somehow. How can I make this right? There's no way. You can't take back that kind of behavior.
Yeah. I know. I think this is one of those times where you have to reach out to one of your judgmental friends and have them judge you so that you can start to realize the nature of what it is, the depth of what it is that you've done. And then you can start to heal and grow. And you need to like make amends. You shouldn't destroy the evidence. You should give it back to this person.
Or if it's photos, keep them until the possibility of prosecution seems less.
Until the statute of limitations ends, I guess.
The other thing I wanted to say was that the notion that she's blaming her friend for telling this guy that she has a crush on him. So there's two possibilities there. A, that she told him a lot more than just, I have a crush on this guy.
Yeah.
And, told him about all those activities that she now regrets. Or B, she told him just, I have a crush on this guy. The friend told the other friend who was being stalked. And then that guy started to put puzzle pieces together in his head, like, oh my gosh, my bathrobe went missing.
Yeah.
I don't know where it went. My door was ajar one night. It looked like somebody was in my house. And that's even creepier, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. You're right. I don't know how the person that wrote the letter could be expecting to get any real help if they're not saying what it is that they did. And but the best thing I think we can hope is you immediately have to start putting the idea of getting together with this person romantically out of your head. That is not going to happen. That's not a reasonable or healthy place to be in your mind at this point, because this person is considering calling the police.
Yeah, it really doesn't, it does matter the exact things that she did, but the advice is going to be the same no matter what, which is stop deluding yourself and move on.
Yeah.
And don't talk to this person or try to contact them ever again.
And we always say on the show, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. So go find someone to have a healthy relationship with.
If that's possible for this person.
Yeah, and get evaluated.
Yes, get a
Therapy
therapist.
works for lots of people, although not everybody, but for lots of people.
Yeah, do it before the state assigns you one.
Yeah, it's always better to pick your own. Okay, that was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in a mood today. I feel kind of bad because I feel like we were laughing at this person.
I mean, if I recall the answer to that advice question, the person who answered the advice question was not a lot nicer than we have been.
Yeah. Should we do the question about the name that you sent me, Oldman, or should we save that?
Let's save that. Let's save that for next week, and okay. I'll do a bit more promo. One thing that I always post the promotions, Jeremy, but I don't always do make a notification for all those people, because I don't want to every single week have their phone buzzing saying,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I
the Jeremy
understand.
show is coming."
Yeah.
But I do it like once a month maybe or around that to remind people that we're here. So next week, or depending on how you're feeling, then I'll do the notification for next week, and that usually does bring in more people.
I always appreciate that, Oldman, very much. I also, I mean, the show is a hoot, and I'm always having a good time. I'm not doing a whole lot of marketing on my own, and I have avenues that I could be pushing through for that too. So we'll do that. But for the folks watching at home, spread the word, tell your friends. The best way to make sure you never miss a show is to like and subscribe and hit the whatever notification thing that people do.
Or you can park your car outside Jeremy's house and get some binoculars and just wait for him to get on the stream. That would be another good way.
That's true. Just give me all the evidence back. If for the folks that came in late, I know there's not a lot of folks out there today. We are no longer streaming on Facebook. Facebook is RIP as far as I'm concerned. They've changed the rules. You have to have over 100 subscribers to live stream to Facebook. So we're done with Facebook. If I don't know how you get 100 subscribers if you're not streaming anything. Maybe we'll return someday. So moving forward, we are Twitch, we are YouTube, we are JeremyInternational.com, and that is it for the foreseeable time. But thanks for coming by. This was fun, Oldman. We always have a good time hanging out.
Yes, we do. It's always good to talk to you.
But I think we're going to wrap it up early just because I'm beat and you've had a rough week. And it's just one of those days. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do around the house before I go to sleep too, which I keep forgetting about.
All right. Enjoy your time that you have to yourself this week. Park yourself on the sofa. Watch that Godzilla movie.
Yeah. Godzilla -1, also just for everyone watching from home, is on Netflix right now, and it is a wonderful movie. And if you haven't seen it, even if you don't like Godzilla, you should watch it. Godzilla -1 on Netflix. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good night. Be healthy. Be safe. And we will likely see you next week.